good to see you guys again, and I have to say thank you so much to all of you who wished me well last week when I hurt my back exercising. For those of you who don't know, I actually have had like a back problem since I was 19 years old, and you know, it's just been a journey of like strengthening my back and increasing my flexibility and knowing how to take care of myself. So yeah, I'm glad to say that I am 100% healed after 2 whole days of constant trigger point therapy at home and resting, good as new. So today I want to talk about love and relationships. I know that this is something that Yuri and I usually talk about on Thursdays, and tomorrow Yuri is coming on for our live chat, and I think, you know, we may continue on today's topic, but however, I think today I want to talk about love specifically because I think that it's really hard actually for us to understand love. And I feel like even, you know, now that I've been married for 10 years, that I am still probably chipping away at like just the tip of the iceberg at what love actually is. So over the past few years, I think what has become more clear is what love is not. And so, you know, I want to talk about what love is because I want to talk about what love is not. What is love? You know, it's not something that I want to go really deep into today, but what is not love is what I want to delve into today. Specifically because I think that some of us may be in relationships that are not healthy for us, but we don't know how to identify that is not healthy for us because we think we're so in love, right? And that is detrimental to our overall well-being and happiness. And there's also elements of self-sabotage and self-destructiveness in the scheme of things, you know, of being in love, of being in a relationship. And so that's what I want to talk about today. If you have any questions at all when it comes to, you know, your own relationships or even like your friends' relationships and you just want to share, feel free. I'll read through your comments. And if you have any experiences that you want to share from your past relationships, feel free as well. So hi to everybody saying hi. Hi Joanna, hi Anna, hi Casper, Sabina. Oh, my auntie is here. Hi Main Ayi. Hi Than, hi Lina from the Philippines, Ludi, Fanny, Anka. I'm glad you like the topic. Eros, Rodolin from Japan. I miss Japan so much, you know, and I'm thinking that we probably won't be able to make our annual trip to Kyoto in January next year because of COVID-19. It's just not safe to travel, like just being in the airplane. You know, it's just not the best idea. It's not wise. So even if the borders do open, I don't think my family and I will be risking it to be in the airport where it's like it's filled with people and also in the airplane. Yeah, so that's just a little segue into how, you know, a lot of us are probably not traveling at the moment, but that is a first world problem. Cecile, hi. Cici, Shamai, how do I pronounce your name? Hi Sarah, hi Lulu, Brandon, Evelyn, Tomoko, Jessica, Ning, Yingchi, Melissa, Pooja from Frankfurt. Hi Zan. Okay, so let's go into the topic. Hi Anna from Hong Kong. Now, I want to talk about what is not love and unhealthy relationships. Because I feel like growing up, we are all in search of love. We're all in search of this ideal relationship. And I think that when we actually meet someone and we go on to commit to the relationship, whether it's a long-term commitment as boyfriend and girlfriend, or it's a marriage kind of commitment, I think a lot of us don't actually recognize when we are not acting or behaving out of love. And a lot of us don't actually recognize when a relationship is not healthy for us, not healthy for our emotional and mental well-being, and not healthy overall for just our day-to-day life. And I'm talking about this because recently, someone I know is going through a very difficult time in her marriage, and I don't think that she is in a place where she's taking care of herself. You know, a lot of us lose ourselves in a relationship when we feel like we're not getting the love we want, when we feel like we're not getting the attention we want, when we feel like we're not significant in a relationship. And so a lot of the times when things don't go so well in a relationship and we start arguing with our partner and we start having, you know, terrible rows where we shout at each other and we say things that hurt each other, and there's door slamming, there's stamping, like foot stamping, stomping, and we're walking out on each other and we're driving away, and maybe we're even taking our children away, you know, and going into hiding or hibernation for a while because you're so angry at the person, or maybe, you know, one party actually disappears for a few days just to cool down. You know, like all these actions are indication that there is a problem in the relationship. I'm not saying that there is a problem with you or your partner. I'm saying that there is a problem in the relationship, because the number one question is, like Wai Kiong here is asking, what is love? So if you are in a relationship that you are miserable in because you feel like your partner doesn't love you, or because you feel like your partner doesn't give you the attention you want, or because you feel like your partner may be having an affair, you know, and it's tearing you apart, the question is, why are you still in that relationship? And the answer normally comes back to love. You know, it's because I love you, and I don't want to give up on the relationship. And I think not giving up, it's a really great philosophy to have in life. However, I think that there is a difference between giving up on a relationship and being wise enough to recognize that something is not healthy for both parties, and therefore it's much better if you're not in each other's lives, right? That's not giving up. Giving up is acting out of anger. Giving up is saying things that you don't mean. Giving up is like hurting somebody because you want control and because you want attention, and you're behaving, you know, in ways that hurt the other person and hurt yourself. To me, that's giving up. Now, being wise enough to see that a relationship is not healthy requires us to really examine what is not love. If you are crying every day, and if you are losing yourself at work, like you cannot focus, if you run away a few times, or you need to, you know, disengage or distance yourself from your partner for a few days, for a few weeks, and then you go back to the relationship, and then you keep going back to the relationship, you know, like all these are signs that you need to question why you're still in that relationship. Because I think that a lot of us mistake need for love, and a lot of us don't have enough self-worth and self-love to be able to recognize that we don't need to be in a relationship, full stop. What more a relationship that is causing so much distress and so much anxiety and even bringing us into depression? So we have to be able to recognize when we are in a relationship and we feel trapped. And we have to ask ourselves, why do we feel trapped? Oftentimes, we use our kids as a reason, or we use love as a reason. But ultimately, what is love? If you and your spouse or you and your partner have a child together and you're arguing all the time and you are saying things and doing things that hurt each other all the time, or maybe you're blaming each other or being suspicious of each other for having an affair, or you're taking it out on your extended family, or you're every day or every other day you're talking to your friends and complaining about your partner. Even if you do have a child together, do you think that this is a healthy environment for the child to grow up in? Every time you lose your temper and you raise your voice towards your partner, your child is there and is witnessing exactly what's going on. So if we say that we're staying in a relationship that is unhealthy because of the children, then that is not the true reason. That is the easy reason. On the surface, that's the easy reason. Why is it the easy reason? Because it's scary as heck to break off from somebody whom you've had a child with, because then you will be 100% responsible for the child, and maybe you don't have enough money, or maybe you don't have a great job, or maybe you yourself feel lost. And so it's so hard for you to detach and leave a relationship that's unhealthy or toxic, right? And so all this boils down to how much value do we have towards ourselves. You know, how worthy do we feel as a person? Because I can tell you right now that none of us need to be in a relationship. Those of us who choose to be in a relationship, great. That's a choice we make. A choice is not a need. And I think we mistake need for love so often that we cannot recognize it, that when we are in a relationship that is unhealthy for us. And I think we don't even see that we can be happy on our own. I think the programming is such that we feel like we need a relationship, we feel like we need to be loved by our partner, that we forget, you know, it's like we don't even realize that we are perfectly capable not being in a relationship. You know, we are perfectly capable to be on our own, even with a child. And I think we should not shortchange ourselves in our ability to be able to be happy without a partner. I don't think we can shortchange ourselves on our ability to be successful without a partner. Will it be hard? Yes. Will it be extremely tough? Yes. You know, but can we do it? Yes. And so I think this is something that we forget. You know, why do we want love? We have to ask ourselves this question. Do we need love, or is it a choice we make to give love to somebody? And I think, of course, you know, ideally in this world, as human beings, it'll be great if all of us don't need love in a sense of needing love to feel significant, to feel validated, to feel like we matter, to feel like we're worthy. But unfortunately, I think, you know, maybe not unfortunately, but the way that we human beings are built, I think that we come onto this earth and we crave significance, we crave relevance, we crave love because we want acceptance. If you love me, it proves to me that I am worthy, right? And that is like the instinctive kind of feeling that we human beings have. This is why we all crave love so much because love is validation. Because when you really think about it, I love you is not enough. When we fall in love, we say, I love you, right? But actually, if we're really honest with ourselves, that's not enough. I love you and I want you to love me back in this way and that way. I love you if you can love me back. So we want love. We can give love for sure, but we want that love. Because there is this huge fear that we are nobody and that we are not worthy if you don't love me. Especially our parents. You know, for those of us who grow up without a good relationship with our parents, the tendency for us to need love as an adult, to need a relationship, to need a husband, to need a wife is very, very strong. And we have to understand this about ourselves. Why is it that we find it so hard to exit a relationship that is unhealthy for us? Because deep down inside, we don't have enough love for ourselves. Because without you, I feel lost, I feel adrift. So it is better that I have you, a toxic relationship, than to have nobody. Because I don't know what having nobody looks like. I feel like a lot of us who are in relationships that are not healthy for us, I feel like we all know deep down inside that it's not healthy for us. We know that. If you're crying every day, if you're talking to your friends every day about the same thing about your partner, if you're shouting at each other all the time, if you're suspecting each other of having an affair and you're accusing each other, and every time you talk to each other it's just with raised voices, you know that it is not healthy. Because we're all smart people, right? Like, we know. But the question is not whether we're smart or stupid, right? It's not like people in toxic relationships are not stupid. We're smart. So the question is, why are we still in that relationship? And the answer always comes down to us thinking that we need that validation of love. And that if my partner has an affair, it will tear me apart. And the question is, why? If someone has an affair, maybe you're heartbroken, but why would it tear you apart? And the bigger question is, why do you want to be with somebody who wants to be with someone else? A lot of us are so angry, either because we suspect our partner is having an affair, or because it is true that our partner is having an affair. And a lot of us don't leave that relationship, but we want to stay angry. There's so many people I know who suspect their partner is having an affair. And so the relationship is tumultuous. Because when you already have suspicions, what you'll do is you keep digging. And you'll keep pushing, you'll keep asking. And so every conversation turns into an argument. And the question is this: if it is the truth that they are having an affair, what will you do? The other question to ask is, the way that things are going right now with you at each other's throats all the time, is that even a relationship you want, regardless of whether your partner is having an affair? We know deep down when somebody doesn't love you. I mean, we know deep down when somebody doesn't love us anymore. Ria here says, Xandria, are you talking about me? So me and all. it's not just you, right, Ria? I mean, this happens. I mean, out of 10 friends, at least 1 or 2 will relate to what I'm saying right now, because this is so common. And I know this because I'm human. I know what it feels like. I look at myself and I have to ask myself, Xandria, what parts of you crave love? And what parts of yourself are you actually compromising and giving up because you think you need that person in your life? And I think we ourselves have to take our power back. Day 8 of my happiness program, if you've been doing that, right? If you have my happiness program, this is something extra to what don't give your power away means. Because we ourselves feel so much like a victim that we forget that we are not a victim. Of course, things can happen to us. Of course, people can lie to us, can cheat, people can abandon us, people can do so many things to us. Of course. But you don't need to give your power away by blaming the person. Why? Why is blame giving your power away? Because blame is saying you did something that has injured me and that has made me worthless. That's anger. That's blame. So if somebody has successfully taken away your self-worth, then of course you are a victim. But a person can lie to you, can cheat on you, and can abandon you without robbing you of your self-worth. Because they can do anything they want. It is out of your control. But your self-worth, is your self-worth yours to control, or is your self-worth somebody else to control? Our self-worth is within our own power to give away or to keep. And so when somebody has done something terrible to you, maybe they've discarded you, they have cheated on you, they've lied to you, they've done something awful. But they cannot take away your self-worth unless you allow them and you give your power away and you say, hey, take my self-worth too. And that's what we always end up doing. We always end up giving our self-worth away because we're so angry at everybody for making us into a victim when we don't understand and we cannot see that we are making ourselves the victim. If somebody has betrayed you, goodbye. That's it. Yes, you'll be heartbroken. Yes, you'll miss the person. But ultimately, the question is not so much that they have left you. The question is, do you even want to be with that person? It's not that they left you. It is more like, why do you want to be with that person? It's different. You don't need this person in order to feel fulfilled. You don't need this person in order to feel alive. You don't need this person in order to matter in this world. I'm really telling you this because you yourself, you already matter with or without this person. Don't let anybody, not even your parents, make you feel worthless, make you feel like you need their approval, make you feel like you need their acceptance and their love in order to be relevant, in order to matter, in order to be significant. And this is why giving understanding to people, letting go of anger and blame, and being kind and patient with ourselves, these are actually all acts of self-empowerment, of self-worth. When you give understanding to somebody who has left you, who has betrayed you, who has lied to you, that is not for them. That is for yourself. Because giving this understanding means you are not letting them make you into a victim. Giving that understanding and saying that, okay, you've cheated on me, or you've lied to me, or you've abandoned me, and it hurts like hell. You know, and in an ideal world, I wouldn't want this to happen, but hey, it already happened. And it is beyond my control, it's beyond my power. However, whatever that has happened, I am still the same person. I am still just as worthy of love, and I am still just as significant. This is the meaning of giving understanding. It means that you have made a decision that actually you are the one who doesn't want that. Not that they have left you. It's more like you don't want this. So there's no anger, there's no blame, there's hurt, there's pain. But with time, it passes. And when you value yourself, and you value your sanity, and you value your life and your happiness, you know, that is love. That is all we need. Having a partner in life is great. It's wonderful. You know, it's just like having a best friend. Somebody you trust, somebody to do things with, somebody to talk to, somebody to listen to you, you know. It's wonderful. But without that, is your life still meaningful? That's a question you have to ask yourself. I can't tell you. I can't give that answer to you. Without the people that loves you, is your life still meaningful? That's a hard question. A lot of us would say, no, my life is not meaningful. My life has no value if the people I love are not around. So the question I want to ask is, I ask myself too, you know, is then does this mean that I am not enough for myself? I love people, and I want to be surrounded by the people I love. But I also constantly ask myself, you know, Xandria, why do you need that to make life meaningful? Why do you need that to feel happy? Why do you need that to be alive? You can enjoy it, you can feel grateful for it, but why do you need that? Will my life and the value of my life decrease significantly? And I want to believe no. So if you are in a relationship and it's making you miserable, and you know deep down that you are being self-destructive, why do you still want that relationship? Examine the relationship you have with yourself. So many of us spend all our time analyzing. Why did he leave me? Why did she not reciprocate my feelings? Why did he do that? Why didn't she do that? You know, he said this, does it mean that? Oh, she did that, does it mean this? We spend all our time analyzing. Why did this person do this? Why did they do that? You know, did they say this? Did they not say this? What does it mean? And then we torture ourselves over what they say, what they didn't say, what they do, what they didn't do. And we spend so much time breaking down every little thing that they say or didn't say. And we don't spend enough time examining the relationship we have with ourselves. Why are we still in that unhealthy relationship? Why are we wanting so little for ourselves? You don't need that person to be significant. That person can be a wonderful person. That person can be an amazing person. The person can be full of qualities. The person can be the smartest person on earth. The person can be the most good-looking person on earth. But if the person does not want to be with you, or if the person does not love you in the way that you know you want to be loved, then why do you still think so highly of this person? As if you need this person in your life. So many of us feel like that person is doing us a favor by being with us almost, like it seems to be like that. And so we need to go back to the why. And the why always comes from our relationship with ourselves. Because we need to be accepted. We need to feel like our life has meaning. I don't know why, but maybe it's society, maybe it's the people we surround ourselves with, maybe it's the movies we watch, maybe it's our family imposing their beliefs upon us, but we somehow are programmed to believe that we need somebody. We need to be in a relationship. In order to thrive, in order to be happy, we need to have a family in order to be happy. That is not true. There are so many people in relationships and so many people in families that are not happy. And so being in a relationship and being in a family is not the key to happiness. I'm not saying being alone is fantastic, or not being alone is fantastic. I'm not saying either way is fantastic or not. What I am saying is that if there is not a person in your life that is adding value and contributing light into your life, why are you still with the person? Sabina here says, I can't find the strength to exit. It's not that you can't find the strength to exit. It is that you need to examine within yourself why you need this relationship. And you need to uncover all these answers as to why you need this person. What fears do you have if you're not with this person anymore? And you need to address every single one of those fears. Because ultimately, I am telling you that you don't need proof that you are important. You don't need to be in a relationship as proof that you're happy. You don't need a family or kids to prove that your life is worthy, that your life is significant. We have and always will be enough. We have always been enough, and we will always be enough for ourselves. And I'm not saying that we don't need anybody in our lives and we don't, we're an island and, don't need people to help us. That's not what I'm saying. If there are people around who love you, fantastic. If there are people around who lift you up, fantastic. If there are people around who help you, fantastic. Bonus. Be grateful for that. But even without that, you will still be okay. Shilamui here asked, after spending 30 years in a marriage with 5 kids, how do you walk away from a cheating husband? Read my book. My parents were married for 32 years and my father had an affair. And my mom, the moment she knew, she didn't want him in her life anymore. And I write about this in the book and about how she did all that without blame and without anger, because my mom has never felt like a victim. She doesn't give her power away. My mom believes in her own self-worth. Just because my dad doesn't love her doesn't mean that she is not worthy of love. And that's something that nobody can make you believe. This is something that you yourself have to believe. And how do you believe this? There's a lot of work to be done. where we go deep down and we examine within ourselves from childhood until now. What are our fears? What are our insecurities? What kind of acceptance and approval have we always wanted from our parents, from adults, from teachers, from society? Because that will reflect what kind of love and acceptance that we crave from our partner. It is all a reflection. Every single decision we make today is a reflection of our needs and fears, and it's a sign of our self-worth and self-love or lack thereof. Everything it comes back to that. The amount of kindness and compassion we can have for ourselves really depends on how we believe or how we feel about whether or not we are significant, regardless of what people say or what people do. Okay, Tracy, I'm glad you read the book. Cindy here says, maybe it's the internal mental fears of either losing again or being totally lonely, cast out again. That's why it's kind of addictive for us to be with a person that don't really treasure us. Definitely. You know, ask yourself, why is this addictive? Why are we self-sabotaging ourselves? You know, we fear being alone, and so we would rather be with somebody who don't treasure us. That is not people doing things to us. It's not your partner's fault, yeah? It is not your fault either. It is just a result, an action and consequence. It means that is a sign of an unhealthy relationship that comes from self-sabotage. If you already know that the person don't treasure you, yet you're still in the relationship because you fear being alone, that is self-sabotage. And it's not easy to leave that relationship. Just like it's not easy to be happy. Of course it's easy when, you know, we have all the tools. It's easy when, you know, we have no fears, or we've addressed our fears, or we've done a lot of work. Of course, then it's easy to be happy. Of course, then it's easy to exit a toxic relationship. But when it's not easy, when it's very, very difficult, that is also a sign that a lot of work needs to be done. That is not a sign to be angry and to blame and to feel, you know, lost and that we should take it out on ourselves or hurt ourselves or hurt the person. You know, that's not a sign to do any of that. It's a sign for us to understand ourselves better. That's all. So many of you in the comments that I see pop up, even though I've not managed to read many of it, but a lot of you are saying that you're relating to this, which means so many of us need to work on understanding ourselves. The work is not looking outside at our partner. Even if they've done everything wrong, they've lied to you, they've betrayed you, the work is not looking at them. It's not trying to figure out why they do that, how can they do that. That's not the work. The work is in here, internal. The work is filling ourselves up. It's truly understanding the value of ourselves and the value of our lives. Self-worth, that's the work. Okay, reading more comments. Richie here asks, what are ways you can show love to your partner daily? Sometimes I think we get complacent and comfortable. How do we find that magic always? Such a great question. Well, Yuri and I put a lot of effort, conscious effort, to keep the magic going. And it has a lot to do with gratitude. It has a lot to do with all the practices in my happiness program. If you do my 30-day happiness program, every single day there is a practice. And every single practice is the practice that Yuri and myself put into the relationship. The amount of gratitude that we show each other goes beyond what I used to do in any of my relationships in the past. The amount of effort we put into understanding each other, the amount of effort we put into not taking things personally when we're getting upset, and to be able to recognize when we're getting upset, the ability to be kind to the other person when they're doing something that you think is wrong, and the ability to not see it as wrong, but to see it as different, because that is acceptance. And I think that to keep a relationship and love strong, the work, if there is one word I would use, is the work is really in acceptance. Because you can love somebody yet not accept them for who they are. We're always finding faults because we think that they should be better, they should be different, they should discard this habit, that's a bad habit, they say something wrong, they do something wrong. And so we're so used to the fault finding mindset that we don't even realize that we're doing it. Anka, I'm so glad. Brandon says that it's so powerful, self-worth, and not looking into your partner and blaming. Search from within and work on your own self-worth. Yes. Melanie, he says, crikey, so true. It's unhealthy living with someone because you don't want to be alone. Story of my life. It's a story of a lot of our lives, because it is scary. It is. It's scary because it's the programming, it's our conditioning to fear not having somebody, to grow old alone, and yet, one of my friends who, I think he's like 10, 15, 20 years older than I am, and he's single, and his life is so full. His life is amazing, and he's so happy because he's learning stuff, he's traveling, he's doing things he loves. And if he can have a partner to do it with, great. If he doesn't, it's fine too. And that to me is inspiring, because it reminds me that his life has so much meaning and so much value because he already values himself, because he already loves himself. And that is very inspiring. Let's see. Hikmah here says, yes, we need to be appreciated, accepted, loved, cared for, and respected. Some men have double standards and expect all of this from the woman. Their egos don't allow them to offer what they expect from the woman. Why? I don't think it's just a man thing. I think the double standards work both ways. I think a lot of us women also expect men or our partner to behave in a certain way. And I think men also behave or expect their partners to behave in a certain way. So it goes both ways. The question is, why? Why do we need somebody to respect us, to feel respected? Don't you already respect yourself? I'm not saying that if someone respects you, ignore it. No, be grateful for it. Shamira, thank you. Let's see. Shamara asks, can toxicity be overcome if both partners are willing, or is it not likely to work? I think that it's very hard for both partners to be willing because you have no power or control over the other person. What you can decide though is that you yourself are willing. And if you are willing, then there are a lot of things that you can actually do and examine in evaluating whether or not you yourself can change and whether you yourself can be happy regardless of how they behave in the relationship. It all starts from you without any expectations from how your partner must reciprocate. Sometimes we make up our minds to, be nice, we make up our minds to, be calm, be patient, and then we get really upset when our partner is not calm. We get really upset when they don't show that they care about us because we are making effort to show that we care about them. And so that is again a recipe for self-sabotage. Why? Because you decide that's how you want to behave. What you expect is how people behave. You have no control over them. What? So the fact that you think you have control over that person is delusional. Right? So I'm not saying that if you have problems in a relationship, don't work on it. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that we cannot force our partner to do the work with us. If you want a relationship and you decide that you want a relationship, then the work you put in. And like coming back to my friend who is suffering in her relationship, if she decides that she thinks that her husband doesn't love her, her husband may be cheating on her husband doesn't care about her, but she's still in that relationship, she's still in that marriage. And so if she decides that she wants to be in that marriage, then she has to stop blaming him, has to stop being angry at him, has to stop being suspicious of him, and she has to work on not needing that validation from him because she decides she wants this relationship. And so she now needs to work on one simple thing: self-love. That's all. Learn to be happy in the relationship because it is her choice. Regardless of whether her husband makes her happy, she needs to learn to be happy in the relationship. The happiness comes from here, not from her husband. Similarly, for all of us, our happiness comes from ourselves, not from our partner. Even when we love somebody, we don't outsource our happiness to them. Read my book, chapter 2. I talk all about expectations and taking responsibility for our own happiness and how to love somebody, not need somebody. Two very different things. So I think that today's topic is pretty interesting. I talk so much that I miss again so many comments. So if you are interested in this topic and you do want to talk more about love and relationships, join us tomorrow. Yuri will be here with me. I think he's one of the best people as well to talk about love. If you have questions, ask them tomorrow. Come on time at 9 p.m. GMT +8, because the early you are, the more likely that I will be able to read your comment and answer your question as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic Wednesday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be happy always. Bye.